New York State prisons are being told to act as if 70% staffing is now 100% staffing, detailed in a memo obtained by 7 News. It comes amid a slew of issues in the prison system, including the death of an inmate near Utica and mysterious illnesses among staff at several facilities. Here's Garrett Dombluski.
This memo, dated February 10th, has Department of Corrections and Community Supervision Commissioner Dan Marticello calling for a complete review of how corrections officers are used in state prisons. He says DOCS is aggressively recruiting, but is critically understaffed.
This is a necessary step. I'm not trying to eliminate current staff. I'm trying to alleviate the burdens on them and their families.
He says the department is down 2,200 COs, leading to his directive that 70% staffing be treated as the new 100%. He's asking prison and union leaders to, quote, identify where we can eliminate and or realign posts and associated duties.
I allow for a vocational instructor and an electrician to do live work with incarcerated people and Class A tools with no correction officers inside the confines of the facility. But the minute I allow an incarcerated individual on a lawnmower, I need a correction officer to supervise him. Doesn't make sense to me.
Union leaders disagree with the 70% directive.
It's a knee-jerk reaction, but unfortunately the commissioner is very limited in what he can do for us.
The memo comes amid a list of incidents in New York State, one where inmate Robert Brooks died at Marcy Correctional after his beating by COs was caught on body camera, and multiple cases where prison staff have been hospitalized after contact with unknown substances. Assemblyman Scott Gray says it's a broken system.
We have failed to make these places not only safe for COs, but safe for other inmates as well.
Currently, corrections can only hire state residents. That's something Marticello says the governor is looking to change. Gray says recruitment is just the tip of the iceberg.
The problem that we're seeing now is retention is probably more of a problem than recruitment.
Among things union leaders say would help offset that are geographical pay, a civil service upgrade to bump salaries, and the death gamble bill, which preserves pensions for members in the union for more than 25 years who pass away before retiring. As for Marticello's complete review, he's asking for plans from each state facility by the end of the month. Garrett Dombluski, 7 News.